History doesn't tell you everything. The post-war dream was built on a foundation of fear. In the quiet suburbs of 1950s America, a shadow stretched long and deep, cast by the looming threat of nuclear annihilation. It was an era defined not just by what was seen, but by what was whispered behind closed doors. The air itself seemed thick with suspicion, a psychological fallout from the atomic bomb. We were taught to duck and cover, a chillingly simple mantra for an existential threat. School children practiced hiding under their desks, a futile drill against the unimaginable power of the mushroom cloud that haunted our collective nightmares. This constant, simmering anxiety was the perfect breeding ground for paranoia, and it was expertly cultivated. On grainy television screens, propagandist politicians like Senator Joseph McCarthy waged a war against an invisible enemy within. His hearings became a national spectacle, a modern-day witch hunt where accusation was as good as conviction. He pointed fingers, named names, and ruined lives, all in the name of patriotism. The message was clear. Your neighbor, your friend, even your family member could be a communist sympathizer, a traitor in your midst. This culture of distrust was deliberately fostered. It turned communities inward, making people afraid to speak, afraid to question, afraid to dissent. The idyllic image of picket fences and manicured lawns hid a darker reality, a society under siege, not just from a foreign power, but from its own government. The Cold War wasn't just fought with spies and soldiers. It was a battle for the American mind, and the first casualty was trust. This climate of fear became the perfect cover for a series of clandestine operations that pushed the boundaries of ethics and human decency. In the darkest corners of the national security apparatus, a secret war was being waged, not on a battlefield, but inside the human mind itself. This was the world of Project MKUltra, one of the CIA's most notorious and deeply disturbing programs. Under the guise of national security, the agency embarked on a sprawling 20-year quest to master the art of mind control. They sought the ultimate weapon, a truth serum that could unlock an enemy's deepest secrets, a method to break a person's will, or even create a programmable assassin. The program was a descent into a moral abyss, sanctioned at the highest levels of government. In sterile, high-contrast rooms hidden away from public view, psychologists and doctors, their identities shielded by layers of bureaucracy, conducted horrific experiments on unwitting subjects. These weren't just captured enemy agents, they were American citizens, mental patients, prisoners, addicts, and even patrons at brothels set up by the CIA. Declassified documents, heavily redacted but still shocking, detail a macabre catalog of techniques. Subjects were subjected to high doses of psychedelic drugs like LSD, administered without their knowledge or consent. They were plunged into sensory deprivation tanks for days on end, forced into drug-induced comas, and subjected to electroshock therapy at 30 to 40 times the normal intensity. Secret labs were established in universities, hospitals, and even luxury hotels, turning ordinary places into theaters of psychological torture. The project's architects, like the chemist Sidney Gottlieb, pursued their goal with a chilling detachment, viewing the human mind as a machine to be dismantled and reassembled. MKUltra was a profound violation of medical ethics, human rights, and the very principles the nation claimed to defend. It was a search for control, born from paranoia, that ultimately spiraled into a monstrous betrayal of public trust. The pervasive sense of unease and hidden truths reached a fever pitch on November 22, 1963. The assassination of President John F. Kennedy was a national trauma, a moment so shocking it seemed to fracture reality itself. The image of the presidential motorcade gliding through Dealey Plaza, the sudden burst of violence, the chaos that followed, it's all seared into the American consciousness. But as the nation grieved, a narrative began to form, one that felt too simple, too neat for such a monumental crime. The official story, solidified by the Warren Commission, pointed to a lone gunman, Lee Harvey Oswald, firing 3 shots from the Texas school book depository. It was a tidy conclusion to a messy and terrifying event. Yet for many, the story never quite added up. Doubt centered on the physical evidence, most famously the magic bullet theory. This single, nearly pristine bullet was said to have caused 7 different wounds in both President Kennedy and Governor Connally, changing trajectory in midair to do so. To critics, it defied the laws of physics. Ballistics and trajectory analysis conducted by independent researchers suggested the possibility of shots from multiple directions, lending credence to the accounts of witnesses who claimed to hear gunfire coming from the grassy knoll, a small hill overlooking the plaza. The Warren Commission itself, tasked with finding the definitive truth, was plagued by inconsistencies. Key evidence went missing, witness testimonies were altered or ignored, and the investigation was concluded with what many felt was undue haste. Figures within the commission seemed more interested in calming a panicked nation than in conducting a thorough, transparent investigation. The conclusion of a lone gunman conveniently closed the book on a host of uncomfortable questions about potential conspiracies involving the mafia, anti-Castro Cubans, or even rogue elements within America's own intelligence agencies. The JFK assassination became more than just a murder. It became a symbol of a deeper, more unsettling possibility that the official history we are given is not always the whole story. While the nation wrestled with political conspiracies on the ground, another mystery was unfolding in the skies above the Nevada desert. Since the late 1940s, reports of unidentified flying objects, UFOs, had captivated the public imagination. Glimmering discs, silent craft moving at impossible speeds, and strange lights in the night sky fueled a cultural obsession with extraterrestrial visitors. The press ran sensational stories, and a new mythology was born. But the truth behind many of these sightings was not from another world. It was from a top-secret world hidden right here on Earth. At the heart of this deception was a remote patch of desert known as Area 51. Behind fences patrolled by armed guards, military scientists and engineers were pushing the limits of aeronautical technology. This was the crucible of the Cold War's most advanced spy planes. Inside heavily guarded hangars under harsh cinematic lighting, engineers worked on highly classified projects like the U-2 and SR-71 Blackbird. These were not flying saucers, but reconnaissance aircraft designed to fly higher and faster than anything that had come before. They were America's eyes in the sky, capable of soaring at altitudes above 70,000 feet to photograph Soviet military installations. To commercial airline pilots and ground observers, these experimental craft, with their unconventional shapes and unprecedented performance, looked utterly alien. The government, rather than revealing its top-secret Cold War technology, found the alien narrative to be a convenient and highly effective cover story. They actively encouraged the speculation, allowing the UFO mythos to grow. Every sighting attributed to little green men was one less question asked about the advanced surveillance capabilities being tested in the Nevada desert. Area 51 wasn't hiding aliens. It was hiding a technological advantage in a high-stakes game of global espionage, proving that sometimes the most effective deception is letting people believe exactly what they want to believe. How much of history is real and how much was hidden? As the Cold War's shadows began to recede, a chilling warning was left by the man who had overseen much of it. In his 1961 farewell address, President Dwight D. Eisenhower, a five-star general, spoke not of foreign enemies but of a threat from within, the rise of a permanent military-industrial complex. He warned of the potential for a disastrous rise of misplaced power, an unholy alliance between the armed forces and a massive arms industry that could endanger our liberties and democratic processes. He saw a future where policy was not shaped by the public good, but by the endless pursuit of profit and power, hidden behind the curtain of national security. Looking down on the glowing tapestry of modern American cities at night, his words echo with profound relevance. The fear, the secrets, and the deceptions of the Cold War were not just a product of their time. They laid the groundwork for the systems of power that operate today, often in secret, shaping the world in ways we are only beginning to understand. This is not conspiracy. This is documented history.